All right, so we've been learning about ratios and reducing ratios. So we're going to use that today to talk about something called unit rate. So by the end of this, we should be able to say that I can use a rate to find and compare unit rates. Okay, so a rate is a ratio, so a comparison of two quantities using different units. So a unit rate is like miles per hour. So I'm comparing the number of miles to the number of hours. Miles and hours are different units, okay? But a unit rate compares a quantity of one unit to another quantity. So when we're talking about miles per hour, that's saying how many miles in 1 hour. Price per pound, how many dollars for 1 pound of chocolate, whatever you're buying. I don't know. Did not know a bell was gonna ring. Okay, so for a rate, it looks like A units compared to B units. But for a unit rate, we're going to take A divided by B, compare it to 1 of thing B, which that's kind of confusing to look at right then. It'll make more sense when we do an example. So unit rates are going to be a decent amount more word problems. Okay. So it says, at a grocery store, you can buy 3 pounds of chicken for $15. What is the unit price? And it tells you cost per pound. So my rate, I'm gonna compare the cost, $15, to how many pounds of chicken? 3 pounds. Okay. When you see like per pound, that tells me that I want to know how much it is for 1 of those pounds. Okay. So per pound means 1 pound. Okay. So to find the unit rate, how much for 1 pound, I'm going to divide by whatever number is here. Okay. Whatever number I want 1 of, I divide by that number. So I want to know what is the cost for 1 pound. So I'm going to divide by 3. Because 3 divided by 3 is 1. What I do on this side of the ratio, have to do on the other side. And then $15 divided by 3 is going to be $5. So the unit rate is $5 for 1 pound of chicken. Or I could say it is $5 per pound of chicken. Okay. And this is like where you see this type of stuff, right? So the cost per pound, miles per hour, miles per gallon, stuff like that. Those are all unit rates, okay? All right, so this one says you earn $3.75 for every 1/4 of an hour that you work. What is the unit rate? The amount of money earned for each 1 hour of work. So I'm going to start with my rate, that you make $3.75 compared to the amount of time, 1/4 of an hour. And there's a couple ways you can go about this. So if you want to do it how we just did it, I want to know how much it is for 1 hour. I'm going to divide by the number in front of that. So I'm going to divide by 1/4. Okay? Because anything divided by itself is 1. So 1/4 divided by 1/4 is going to give me 1. okay? Now, when I divide by a fraction, I put it over 1, I keep the first number the same, I switch to multiplication, and then I flip the fraction. So this is the same as multiplying by 4. And don't be afraid to grab your calculator, which gives me 15. Okay, so when I divide by a fraction, I keep switch flip. You can also put it in your calculator. Like that, and it still gives you 15. So you can use your calculator, that's fine. But this is what's happening, okay? Another way you could have done it is, I know that I have 1/4 of an hour, and my goal is to get to 1 whole hour. It takes 4/4 to make 1 whole, so I'm going to multiply by 4. And either way, I get 15. Okay, so you can divide by fractions. That's probably what I will always do. That makes the most sense to me. Or you can think about, what do I need to multiply this by to get to 1 whole? Okay, so you make $15 in 1 hour. Or you could say that you make $15 per hour. Okay. Last one, we're going to use unit rate to compare two things. So it says Travis can run 8 laps around the track in 10 minutes. I'm just going to circle those. But then Patrick can run 4 laps in 6 minutes. Who has the faster unit rate in terms of minutes per lap? So per lap tells me I want to know how many minutes is it for 1 lap around the track. So 1 time around. Okay, so I'm going to take Travis's rate. He takes 10 minutes to run 8 laps. And I put laps second because it wants to know minutes per lap. So minutes goes first, laps goes second. Okay, Patrick's rate is that he takes 6 minutes to run 4 laps. Oops, I forgot my units. Okay. So for each of them, I want to know how many minutes does it take to run 1 lap. Okay. So I'm going to divide by the second number. I'm going to divide by 8. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. Sorry, I'll scooch this over. All right, and then 10 divided by 8, wrong button, is 1.25. So it takes a minute and 0.25 to run 1 lap for Travis. For Patrick, I'm going to divide by 4. Okay, so I'm going to do 6 divided by 4, which is 1.5. So it takes Patrick a minute and a half per each lap. Okay. So this is where it comes in handy. Their rates are different, but by putting it in unit rate, that makes it easier to compare them. So the person who is faster is the person who took less time to run the same amount. Okay, so Travis took less time. 1.25 is smaller than 1.5. He took less time to run, so Travis is faster. So for your practice, you have some unit rates. Okay, remember our trick about fractions. And then you have a couple, like word problem, compare these two and pick the better one. Okay, so remember just to think about what are you trying to find one of? And here we wanted to find the amount of time for one lap. So if it says per something, per lap tells me 1 lap. Per hour tells me 1 hour. Okay, so you got this. I believe in you. Have fun.